Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. We're coming to you live from Gotham City Billiard Club here in Brooklyn, New York. That's right, it's Brooklyn. That's where we say the lasagna and the Sicilians are like Salogis, they call them out here in Brooklyn. Anyway, this is $11,000 added. I'm upstate out with AZBTV. We're going to have some co-commentators sitting in the booth. First matchup is going to be this match that's going to be right there in front of you. We're going to bring that graphic up real quick just in case you didn't see. It's going to be George Rodriguez, the house pro, the local right here in Brooklyn, playing Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, and he's out of Spain. 3 Spain champions came over. He's the last one left in the tournament. And from here on in, it's going to be Action Jackson all the way. But before we actually get started, we got a lot of people to thank. We want to thank Aramith, of course, the best balls you can use on any felt, along with the felt themselves, Simona's Cloth. If you want to learn about the rack, there's no other place to go but joetucker.net. He's been studying the rack, how to read it, look for spaces, and drills. You can sign up with joetucker.net for $8. Get down there and save yourself a lot of aggravation. We'd like to thank Ozone Billiards. Ozone Billiards Supply, the superstore. It's ozonebilliards.com. And, of course, Gotham City Technologies, Mr. Ron Mason. You got any kind of problem with your device, whether it be a cell phone, laptop, desktop, anything that has to do with any kind of computer work, don't just throw that expensive device away. Check with Ron Mason at Gotham City Technologies. If you want to build a website or host a website, or build a networking, I'll build a network, Gotham City Technologies. They do it all under one roof. We also would like to thank Baltimore City Cues. And don't forget, right after this, coming up, it's just around the corner, the next big event will be, all right. There it is, the U.S. Open, October 24th through the 30th, right down there in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's going to be another live stream pay-per-view, and AccuStats will be bringing that to you right there. It's accustats.com. And, of course, we want to thank Gotham City Billiard Club, Kevin and Isabella Buckley, for hosting this event. Players from around the world swarmed to Brooklyn. And I can't tell, I was like a kid in a candy store, and I still am right now. We also want to remind you, right after Chesapeake, Virginia, that we'll be coming right back there to Steinway. Steinway Billiards, located in Astoria, Queens, New York, November 1st through the 3rd, 128 strong. There's 104 players already signed up and paid, confirmed. All the champions coming up from the U.S. Open and flooding Steinway. That's November 1st through the 3rd. That'll also be a pay-per-view, and you can go to steinwaybilliards.com to find out more information about their pay-per-view. Well, I think what we're going to do is let these players get underway with the first match. Very shortly. I think they're standing in the wings. But we do have other sponsors to thank. First and foremost, Predator Cues and Tony Robles for his Predator Pro-Am Tour. NAPL, we call it NAPL here in New York City, but it's playnapl.com. What a great league that is also. Poison Cues by Predator, pool.biz. AZ Billiards, the world's largest pool and billiards website. You want to find out anything about pool, go to azbilliards.com. It's free to be a member. If you want to post anything in their forums, then you have to be a member. That's free also. But we recommend getting a gold membership. There's a lot of comps that you get when you become a gold member. You can read stories from 1930s, 1940s. azbilliards.com. Mr. Phil Capel from Billiards Press. If you want to save yourself a lot of aggravation about whatever aspect of what game or discipline of what game, you can find it all in his books. Go to billiardspress.com and support Phil Capel. He's doing a lot of writing. In fact, Phil Capel is on locations today. Poolmag.com, poolonanet.com, Delta 13. How about if you want to purchase a house or rent anything or just buy a piece of land, parcel? Make sure to check out the DeVitoTeam.com. And, of course, once again, Ozone Billiards. If you would like to be a sponsor of Tony Robles and his tour, you can get in contact with him at the PredatorProAmTour.com. We also would like to thank Mr. Joel Shapiro, our ace in the hole. The man does a lot behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know about him. He's been doing it for years, Mr. Joel Shapiro. Thank you. And, of course, the TAP League, the best amateur league in North America. And Molinari glove. Why get the glove? Because it fits. It not only fits, the material that it's made out of, it can stand up to the necessities that you need as far as playing pool. It's webbed on the inside of the palm. It's a craze. They've been selling like crazy. They're on board with AZB TV. They also have them here, right here at Gotham City Billiard Club. They're available in Steinway Billiards. If they're not available in your room, shoot molinariglove.com an email and let them know that you would like to purchase them and have them in your own pool room. molinariglove.com. All right, we just gave the players the go-ahead, so they're shaking hands and flipping the coin. Now, keep in mind, this is a race to 10. As we get down to the finals become longer races, extended races, depending on who's coming from the one-loss side and who's still on the ace side. Three ball drops right into the bottom right-hand corner. The one goes in the upper right-hand corner. The two comes down into position for a shot. But look at the 5-6. George might want to just try to make this 9 ball right here. Bank the 2 into the 7, unless he can get up above the 4, which is right above the 2. Yeah, he can do that and play the 4-9 combination for a quick win right here. Either that or go 2 rails. He's going to play right above it. George has been shooting real good. I tell you, he's on the one-loss side, but you cannot be this far in this tournament with all the champions that participated in it without shooting top-notch. That quick, George Rodriguez draws first blood. On the adjacent table to the right is also, I believe, the second match of the one-loss side. And we do have a camera set up on that. It's Dennis Acolo. He's playing Warren Kiemko. Mr. Michael DeShane, my man. I'll tell you what, congratulations, first of all, for being in the hot seat match, which we're going to have on stream. Welcome aboard, Mike DeShane.
Thanks, Al. How you doing?
All right, good morning. How you feeling?
Not bad.
Good.
A little tired, but I feel good.
What do you think about these two characters going on? George Rodriguez must be shooting top-notch to get this far in the tournament, huh?
Yeah, he's not shooting that. I mean, it's his home room. He plays very confident here. He knows what he's doing.
And the buzz around the room is that you're shooting so good that everybody's got you for the lock. They can't even get a bet down.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Today I'm shooting bad, though.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. He just beat Dennis Acolo on a little side wager match, back cutting a 9 ball in, but he's shooting bad.
Yeah.
You know, you see the shirt on George Rodriguez. This is his home room. And I guess Kevin and Isabel are really proud that he's got this far in the tournament. He just came up with a 4-9 combination to draw first blood here.
I got to go hit some balls in a little bit.
Yeah.
But who do you like in this match? Who's George playing against?
He's playing The young man, 23 years old, out of Spain. Yeah, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Nice.
Yeah.
How does he play? Good. I haven't seen him play yet.
Yeah, he beat John Dell, I believe. No, he beat Beato last night in a hill match.
Ooh, that's a good win.
Yeah, yeah. So he's holding his own, and I'm sure a lot of people out in Spain are pretty happy and holding up their glasses right now. Well, what's your next event here, Mike? You're going to the Open, I would imagine, huh?
Definitely going to the Open. I am going to Richmond, Virginia first to play in the American 14.1.
Oh, nice.
Put on by Peter Burrows, good guy.
Yeah.
And after that, I come back to New York and play in the Steinway Classic. After the Open. Yeah.
Right now, it's like 104 people already signed up, or 105 confirmed and paid. So that's definitely going to fill up.
Yeah, it's going to be a big tournament for sure.
You know, a lot of people are comparing that to the U.S. Open. I think they should compare it to like a world tournament. I mean, it's just everybody's going to be there.
The last 2 or 3 tournaments that I played in the States have been absolutely incredible. I went to San Antonio last week or the week before, and everybody and their mothers showed up. You know, it was insane. And then, you know, this was a tough tournament as well.
That was their tornado, right? That was
the
Vivian.
Tornado Open.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good field. And then here, you know, look at this field, you know, a list of champions.
Yeah.
So, some shocking losses, and then, you know, a lot of great players still in.
Well, you know what? We got to thank Mike and the rest of these guys for coming here. Mike, we want to thank you because you guys really helped the room out a lot. You know, the crowd came in. It's been busy in here for the last, now going on 3 days. And the reason they're here and the fans are here because you guys are here. So we want to say thank you to you.
You're welcome.
And you're ranked, what, number 2 in the United States, Mike?
Yeah. Soon it'll be number 1.
Soon to be number 1.
I hope.
Ranked
It'll
number
happen.
2.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah, I think it's right around the bend there. In fact, it might just be that way after October 30th.
Exactly.
You know?
I like that. You know, it's actually been a very busy couple months. A lot of pool tournaments. Went over to Doha, went to London, San Antonio, here, American 14.1, U.S. Open, Steinway Classic. I believe they're having an 8-ball championship right after that at Steinway the weekend after.
Yes, the New York City 8-ball championships. I will be there to stream that free, yes.
Joss Tour up in Maine.
Oh, yeah, the Ocean State. That's November 21st through the 22nd.
Thanksgiving, I'm going to get fat.
Yeah.
And then when's the next Turning Stone? January?
In January, yeah.
Yeah, so a nice little break in between. Oh, wait, then maybe if I get lucky enough to make the team, the Moscone Cup.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I'd like to see you get back on that team there.
Yeah.
I really would.
You know, if I got to play well at the U.S. Open, but who knows?
Listen, it's a busy couple of months coming up. And, you know, it's the winter time on the coast here, and when the winter time comes along, that's when everybody starts getting their leagues and everything, and so that's why pool is picking up. We would like to keep it this way all the time, and the only way we can, you know, Kevin adding $11,000 to this tournament is to support the room. He's doing this in recognition of his sister Sharon that passed away Memorial Day. So rest in peace, and we always wish this tournament to keep going. I understand Waleed Majid pulled out of the U.S. Open. He doesn't feel good. And he's actually on his way back to Doha.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Any case, 2-0 here. Well, the U.S. Open with Pat handling everything, you know, AccuStats handling everything behind the backgrounds, I think is actually helping, you know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's no secret to anybody that's actually in the pool world, you know, it had a bad name down there because of the certain reasons, let's say. And now that Pat is actually holding everything in sort of an escrow, the players are actually coming in, you know, they're coming in from all over to play. And that's a good sign. That's a plus. George Rodriguez set the break in Game 3, leads here 2-0. And Mike DeShane, sponsored by OBQs, the Kings of Vape are out in Akron, Ohio, also the Kings of Billiards. Snookers, Mr. Stephen Regina Golding. Is there anybody else, Mike?
Kings of Vapor, OB, Chalk Cube, Mario in Canada.
You know, the sponsors are actually lined up, but Mike can only accept so many.
Yeah.
But if you want to become a sponsor of Mike DeShane, I'm sure you know how to get in touch with him. He's got that Facebook page. MD
Pro Pool.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Just hit a like button there. Keep up to date with Mike. All right, Francisco has to come alive here. Can't let that's not going to work out. He tried to marry that up behind the 8-ball. He's left the 1 for George. This is a touchy little shot here. You might have to fight for pole position here. I don't know if he can get it around that. Was that the 4 ball out there? Or the 5? Might have to fight for it. No, he did. Okay, he had enough room. Spin it out 2 rails, get back up on top, shoot the 3 in the bottom right-hand corner, same pocket, the 2's going in. He elected to pop it back out, and he got there. I kind of like that shot better, you know. The 2 going in 2 rails, following it, you might have been on a straighter line. He kind of created a nice angle here just to get back for the 4. You like spinning out 2 rails out of the top left-hand corner here? Coming out short?
Yeah. Sure. Well, you might actually. Does it go past the 8?
The 4 goes past the 7.
Yeah.
Oh, does the...
I mean, the 5 go past the 8.
From here, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, it does. Oh, no. He came up really short. Ooh. If the 5 passed the 8 in the right corner, I would have probably just played 2 rails and played the 5 there.
Where the 8 is?
Yeah.
And now he's got a power draw this back 1 rail and spin it on top, huh? What does he do here, Mike?
Punts.
No, honestly.
Oh, I don't know. He could play safe. He could probably just roll it behind the.
Can he draw the rock to the rail and come
So
back?
it does go. It does go in the right hand corner. So I mean, well, from there we go. That was a perfect shot. See, he played the 4 ball wrong. He tried to play the 5 for the other corner. Right. I would have just played the 5 for that corner that he shot it in, and went 2 rails for the 6. But he ended up good. So.
Yeah, I got a little fortunate. Yeah. And now he's looking at the carom, the 8-9 carom. I guess the 8 doesn't go in either pocket.
Oh. The 8 doesn't go in either pocket?
No, doesn't go in either pocket. So he's looking at the 8-9 carom unless he's going to try to get down there behind it right now and elect to play a safe or possibly wind up playing in one of the corner pockets. It's not the easiest of shot. It's asking a lot, but if he gets behind this 8 ball, he can play a jam up safe.
What's a jam up safe?
You know, locking the key.
I got to get going. I got to go practice.
All right, Mike. We'll Thanks for sitting in, buddy.
Bye.
Mr. Michael DeShane stepping out. That's the man going to be shooting for the hot seat. Watch the rock. All right, George is going to elect to play this carom. Tell you what, he looked at it 2 and 3 times, and that's what you're supposed to do. He hit it in there like it was hat eyes. George Rodriguez takes the lead quickly, 3-0 in his homeroom right here in Gotham City Billiard Club. Don't forget, MaloneLowryGlove.com. And if you got to order any kind of equipment, make sure you're playing with the Aramis balls. and of course some owner's cloth. And we want to say good morning to Jared. I'm really not in a position to check my text messages as they come in, but I just had a chance. So, Jared the Jazz Man, good morning to you, sir, and we appreciate the kind words. I actually have to charge it. I've been on it. The other table, we got Dennis Acolas on table 6. And he's playing Warren Campco, and there you see Warren going for the 8-ball. I have no idea what the score is on that table from where I am. I'm in the back room. Let me take an eyeball real quick, see if I can see it. It's 2-0 Warren Campco in that match right there. Back to our main feature table. 3-0 George Rodriguez. This is Francisco Ruiz breaking. Young gun out of Spain, 23 years old. Knocked out Carlo Beato last night for the last match. It went hill-hill. Safety call. The other table, Dennis is having a little difficulty racking the balls right now. All right, Mr. Sean Wilkie might come in a little bit. He did participate in this tournament, and if he has a little time on his hands, he said he'll come in and do some commentating. And it'd be great to have Sean Wilkie. He always does a great job. I think George called the 3-ball in the corner. Hit it pretty good. Got kind of a good roll out of it. Yet to be seen, though. We had the honor last night of having Laurie John Jones in the Laurie John Jones. There I go again. Laurie John Hansen in the booth last night. All right, Francisco has to shine. George Rodriguez leading here 3-0. You can't let George do that to you. He'll just keep stepping on you, and that's what he's supposed to do. One rail back out to the middle of the table. He's got to make sure he gets by that 7, and he does. Cloth's just been replaced on every table here at the pool room within a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So the cloth is sliding a little bit right now. The climate inside the pool room is just superb for play. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's about 57 degrees and really sunny out here in New York right now. Might want to try to just slide this below the 7. Yeah, just jack up on a little bit and just punch it below the 7. Play it in the corner. Keep it nice and easy. If I'm not mistaken, the last match last night before we actually shut the live stream off, if I'm not mistaken, at one point or another, Carlo Beato had Francisco down 3-1, just like you see it right here. And wound up going hill. It's a pretty exciting match. David Al-Qaeda was standing off in the wings. Of course, they traveled together and cheering them on last night. We had a really nice crowd. Today is Monday. We do have a nice crowd right now. They're walking in as we're speaking. 5-ball into the side. If the 8 nudges the 1 just a little bit, it'll even make it a little bit easier. Don't know if it got there. George took a quick look at it. I would have to assume that it goes. He's got to get the bridge out. I don't think he can stretch over this table that long. Tell you what, this young man here, Lori John, was sitting in the booth last night, and she gave us. Well, we knew it, but she actually brought it up to the table. Was not only is he 23 years old, she said, and she said usually like you'll find younger players like this, and they'll be real hyper. You know, Francisco is his discipline and his demeanor at the table, his professional status at 23 years old. And she's right on the money when she says something like that. And as you can see, Francisco goes up another beat, and he now trails only by one, 3-2, and he's breaking. Alternate break format, call shot, call safety. Rack number 6 still trails by one. His demeanor remains the same. Status of a professional at 23 years old. Francisco Ruiz set to break. One ball into the side pocket. The 6 going to follow the 1. And it looks like the 2 is going to dress up also for the side pocket. And while it's a little bit of a back cut, whether it goes by the 9 or not, we're going to have to take a look here. Yeah, it goes by the 9. So, but I think he's going to elect to cut it into the side pocket and then squirt the cue ball around 3 rails back to the center for the 3 ball. He's looking at the corner. And now he's back to the side. Maybe rolling up safe and putting a 2 behind the 5. Or is he going to, maybe it goes in the bottom right. Now he's playing safe. See, that just goes to show you the discipline that he has at this age. So a lot of the young guns will get aggressive and attempt to cut that in and send that cue ball flying, or attempt to cut that in the bottom left-hand corner. And he says, well, my better odds are playing safe. And there's the proof in the pudding about this young man. And Lori John was bringing that to the table last night when she was commentating the final match, where he actually defeated Carlo Biado in a hill match, the last match of the night. Couldn't end any better last night. Good hit, but George is going to leave a sitting duck here. And here we'll be able to pick up 2 tables if necessary, or we can switch over to Dennis and Warren if this should end faster. Allison Fisher is actually in the building, settling in and having her cappuccino. I was willing to fist fight with her. I told her I had 2 cups of coffee, and she says, you don't want to have nothing to do with me. I had 2 espressos before I got here, and this is my 3rd cappuccino. That's it. You win. Hands up. Francisco, to tie this up, all goes back to playing safe on that 2 ball behind the 5, and he won that safety battle as George left it as a sitting duck. Francisco goes ahead and knots this up at 3. All right, just a quick update on the match going on. Warren Kiemko and Dennis Acolo. It's 3-2. Dennis Acolo. George, he's set to break here on the main table. We're going to switch it right back over. Right there, you can see the 3 has a side pocket shot, and the 4 right down there by the 7. But the 1 ball is what George is concerned about right here. With the 8 right in the path, he's going to have to play safe. You know, what you do, if you can see enough of the 1 ball, is just tickle the 1 ball a little bit and try to get the cue down behind the 4-7. Pretty frustrating when you come up with a good break like that, but cue ball wound up getting deflected way up table, and you can hear George elects to push, and he pushed out to a kick shot. Francisco says it's all yours. It's either a kick shot or he's just going to try to feather it. Too hard, George. Just to keep you guys aware, we got the hot seat match coming up after this here. It's going to be Mike DeShane and Jason Klatt shooting out for the hot seat. Francisco Ruiz winning the last 4 games or 3 games. Now takes the lead 4-3. Wow. Well, folks, it looks like it's going to be time to pull in the big guns. Ready to rock and roll there, sir?
Ready to rock and roll.
Folks, Mr. Kevin Buckley, the owner of Gotham City Billiard Club in Brooklyn. Hey, Kev.
How you doing, Al?
I'm doing all right now that you're here. I got a little more company.
Yeah, I definitely know you could use a little company today. So you were had a full booth all week.
Yeah,
or
it's
at
been
least
great. Everybody helped out. It's
Saturday,
really
Sunday. So I'm here today to, I guess, do two things. Commentate on what will be probably, 6 very fighting matches to go through.
We're thinking somewhere around 9 o'clock tonight by the time we end, or 10 o'clock, somewhere in that
Yeah,
area.
somewhere in that area, depending on.
Now, you did step into the booth at this point of the day. It wouldn't have anything to do with your house band shooting here, would it?
So, no, my houseman shooting actually is, he's gone above and beyond what anybody expected with a field this strong.
That's
so,
exactly what I just said.
For me, this is a win already for him to be this far up, and we couldn't be more proud of George and the progress he so far has made. Sort of bring him in as our house pro, and for us, we wanted to take someone on the rise and push to get into big tournaments and do things, and then he'll learn and get better. So he's definitely done that.
He's definitely stepping his game up. That's without a doubt. And we're not counting him out by far. Even though, this young man here, I believe he's just won the last 3 or 4 games. It's now 4-3. And he's another one that I was talking about, and Laurie John also mentioned it, about his demeanor and the way he approaches the table instead of becoming real aggressive at times, playing safe at the right time. Like a young gun, like a Thomas Rice, he would get aggressive and try to shoot out at times. Where this young man approaches it and second looks it and weighs his odds out and see what's the best of his advantage to get back to the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Francisco is I'll call it very mature for a 23-year-old pool player in the sense of how to approach the game. And he's got a little funny, but he could still get out of it. He could draw the. I think he could draw back the 9 and not touch the side, but it's tight, and he's concerned about it. So it is a tight little draw to take it to that point. You know, on diamond tables, you'll let the point come out, but I think now he's looking to figure out how he can play safe because he's on the 50-yard line of both.
Don't say 50-yard line, Mr. Phil Capella hit us over the head.
Oh, sorry. It's on the 49-yard line.
49, I like that.
So, but he's stuck here. It's the backward cut, which is what I think he's looking at, or trying to just play a safe.
You got to control the cue ball.
That's a backward cut, and he's good on it.
Hit it good.
So he's up now 5-3, I believe.
That's right.
And yes, Francisco's match last night against Carlo Beato was a feat of back and forth. I think they had a split somewhere along the way. One of the players, I think Francisco was up by 2. Carlo has brought himself back to tie it up, and then they were going back and forth. And Carlo had come up with some, amazing 3-rail kick shots on the ball on the 7. That was a tough match for both of them. And but Francisco's proved he's just willing to hang in there and concentrate on playing. So really a phenomenal player from Spain.
Notice the graphics on the back of that shirt, folks. That's one of the shirts of many. They have black, blue, all different colors. The store is not up yet. Last time I was here, they said they're going to get that store up and running on their website because there's so many people, not only here in the East Coast, but the West Coast want to order these shirts. In fact, we had somebody from California here. He took back a box with him.
Yeah,
So
we've added more shirts. So we added a special classic shirt for this event alone.
Yes.
That all the players had received a shirt.
That's real nice.
That was part of the tournament, and then as well as they were offered up for sale for people here. And we're hoping that within a couple of months we'll have our store finalized, and that people will be able to go online and order shirts, hoodies, hats, and be able to get them shipped to them.
FAClothingcompany.com.
This George broke and scratched on the break. Francisco's coming to the table. The table is fairly wide open. Really no trouble balls to look at this point. See, he's fairly deliberate, so he's looking for the spot to shoot for the 2. It's just going to be 1 rail out, and hoping to get a little bump off the side rail there, so it'll be a good space, good spot to come out.
He's going to be a force to reckon with down at the U.S. Open. He's showing this, they compared this, and they're not only comparing this tournament, and they're also comparing the Steinway Classic tournament to the U.S. Open. I think both of these surpassed the U.S. Open, and more or less like a world tournament, because we had the U.K. in here. I mean,
yeah, we had the U.K., we had Spain, we had the Philippines. We have people from Russia here.
Well, next time Staleev might be here.
Yeah, Staleev may be here. So he actually, we called Staleev to see if he could attend, but he's playing in a Russian billiard event at the same time, so he couldn't come. No,
I mean, the players came out from all over
tonight.
Yeah.
Yep, this was a very strong group for this event, which we were very happy to see. And
well, I'll tell you what, you guys, and the event's not over yet by far, but you guys really went all out and beyond. You got to come here to Gotham City Billiard Club, folks. It's like walking into your house. The owners here, they want to meet you. You know, they walk up to you. They want to know who you are. And, next time you walk in the door or you go outside and you come back in, you're like, okay, I'm home. Where's my bedroom and the TV? And let me just sit down and relax. I mean, it's just that kind of atmosphere here. Never mind the home-cooked meals that Kevin's wife struggled. The first day she walked out of here, if we would have did a video of her, we could have probably put her in for a skit for the Walking Dead. She was tired. I mean, she was just in that kitchen all day and night long.
Yes, no, she was. I joked with her being slammed in the kitchen, but we had roughly 220 people in a 5,000 square foot room, you know, to come see the event during the course of the day. And it seemed like everybody ate.
Yeah, once they got to look at the lasagna and they got to look at the ziti and everything else coming out of there, it was like, wow.
My wife is half from Spain and essentially half from Greece. And so she came out with special Greek dishes as well for this event. And so besides having Spanish food and then the lasagna, you know, the Italian course, because most of this neighborhood used to be Italian at one time. And so she's cooks, you know, pretty much everything to go through. But she came out with some special dishes, but I think she's at this point sort of regretting it in day 3 on the cooking hasn't stopped. And so she has just kept going, and at this point I think she's asleep out in the white chair in the front of the room outside in the cold. But no, she's still going at it.
And just in case you're listening in and thinking about bringing a grocery bag full of goodies back here to the commentator's booth, please don't. We had about 5 of them be delivered yesterday. We had more than enough food.
Oh yeah, people were dropping food off. I thought it was
like crazy.
A
Julie Ha, we got to say
homeless
hi.
shelter. Yes,
And
Julie.
May and everybody out there. Thank you. It was great. All right, here we go. Francisco gets to 6. Set the break here in Game 10. Francisco's won every game since I believe he was started at 0. I had to go
That's
back and take a
3-1.
look at it.
He won. I think it was 2-0, and then he won his first game. And he was down 3-1.
All right, so he's won the last
5-5.
games.
Yep.
Wow.
George's tables at the turn. He scratched on one break. Another one he broke, made 2 balls, didn't get to see the one. So his break isn't working for him as well. Francisco is broke, makes a ball on the break, and he's got a shot on the 1.
Yeah, he's jacked up over the 7. 7 is real close. I don't know if they called anybody out there to take a look at the hit. If he's in the middle of stroking the cue ball and then he goes through with his stroke to come in contact with the shot on the 1 and moves the 7, it's an automatic foul. But if he does nudge it or just touch it without going through the shot and lets George know that he touched the 7, George has the option to put it back where he thinks it was. But this kid is so steady. 1 stroked it. He got on top of the 7. 1 stroked it, the 1 right into the hole. He's got a real tester on the 2 ball, though. What do you think here, Kev?
The way he's been playing, I wouldn't be surprised if he looks to play the safe. I don't know if he'll take the aggressive shot. He may, because now that he's put 5 racks together, he may do it. The safe would be taking the 2 to the bottom rail and back up, the cue around to behind the 9.
Right.
But he's decided, I guess, since he's up.
How about just knock them both in the hole at the same time?
And we still have a shot on the 4. 4, I think, passes the.
What a shot.
The 7. So.
And it's not like he got up there and stroked it with a hard speed. He just got up there and tapped it, like a poke stroke.
Just a little poke stroke to get through it. And
he's got an arsenal, I'll tell you.
This could be just 2 rails out for the 6, but
And we've seen that a bunch of times. I haven't seen it from Francisco yet.
No, that's the first time. But if you notice, he did just flinch a little, almost like he was jumping up when he took that shot. And so
what I was
that's why he may have missed it.
Usually, like when a player will come up with a shot like that, and making that great 2 ball, and actually getting the bonus with the 5, the little anxiety, the excitement,
right.
And then all of a sudden they got a dead end shot and they missed it. And that was something that I didn't want to see last night when Carlo Beato played that 3-rail kick and made that shot. And then he wound up good on the 8. I thought he was going to miss it. But he settled right in.
George gave him the shot back.
Got to.
He missed.
Call shot, call safe, yeah.
Yep. And so with this, he's just looking to see he could squeeze it, and he's looking at the 2 of where it's going to go, because he's going to send the 2 to the bottom rail and probably to the side, and the cue will go down to be by the 7. Except he ends up bumping the 7. George will be able to see it, but no pocket to put it in. He'll just play the safe back again, putting the 2 up a little bit on the side there and coming behind the 7.
Nice speed,
looks
too.
like he did good speed on that.
We're going to see a pogo stick come out, I believe.
Yeah, he's... Problem here is that the shot on the 4, he's going to be you know, tough with being on the 6, which is next up on the by the 8 over by the side rail there. So
unless the cue ball squirts down to the short rail, back up again. If he's definitely got to call it.
Yeah, may have just been playing safe, just so that he could hit it and get off.
I hear somebody say, "Come on, George."
Yep, they want to get George a little motivated. He's been sitting there. You get a little cold sometimes sitting there wondering, you know, some of the things don't go your way. You got to get up mentally and just start hitting it. And he missed that cut shot. Not an easy cut, but still, you know, it's a makeable shot. He ended up missing that, and so I think Francisco's trying to decide whether to give it back to him or let him shoot again. He's opted to he's going to take the shot. He's probably just going to play safe down the rail. George can see it, but now looking to play safe.
Safety called. We can hear it. You know, we're actually going to crank the audio up in the house because we do have the music off, so we should be able to hear the players calling the shots.
Yeah, there's about 30 people in the room right now. If anybody who's been in Gotham, they're playing on table 10, so that is slightly off the beginning of the room, and we U-shaped the audience around the 2 tables so that they could see it easier, and so
right. In other words, everybody can have a box seat right up front.
Right up front to get to watch the 2 tables go at it. So. It was a tough attempt for that safe. He tried to do the 6 behind the 7. I've seen Francisco cut this 6 ball as if it was a hanger, but I'm expecting he'll play the safe.
Yeah, I like banking it behind the 8.
Yeah, behind the 8 and putting the cue onto the bottom rail there.
Yeah, use the 7, 8
as the blockers.
Right. Unless I don't think he can feather it past that 8 ball if he wants to thin that 6 and feather the cue ball. I mean, feather the 6 ball and bring the cue ball around the 8. No, he's doing what we suspected. He don't kind of like it.
No, he doesn't like it because I think he's more. It's a little more of an angle, and so he really can't draw it back to the rail. That's what he's looking at, is how much he could draw it back into the rail, as opposed to sliding it more closer to the corner pocket. So that's what he's looking at. Let's see. He's hoping that the 8 was going to help slow him up, which it did. George can see the side of the 6, but But there's nothing he can do with it. He'll feather it, but it's tough to play the safe. He's going to have to. He may just masse it a little bit, try to play the safe, knowing the first reaction you're going to look at. A slight masse will put the cue, try to put the cue behind the 8, off the rail behind the 8, and the
Tough
6 down to
shot.
the thing. But it's a very tough shot.
Very tough. Requires a nice.
You got to really, yeah, you got to
Feel.
rely on the feel of it.
Oh, wow.
You can't jump it. The jump it will send the balls, all over the place because the 7 is close to the 6. So you got to hit it hard enough to.
I like
Clear
the
it.
shot, though. You just got to be real careful.
Yeah.
Notice speed. In case you're
He's
wondering.
decided to take the long route, which was something I looked at. So
I like
it
that.
did that good. That was pretty
I like
good.
that. Still a makeable shot,
Yep.
but you're going to have to earn it. It's not like a gimme.
But I'm thinking he will play the safe. He'll hit the 6 back up to where he is. The cue will come down to the bottom rail and then up to the side, using the 8-7 as the blockers.
Now, the last safety battle they had, Francisco came up on top.
Yeah, hit that a little thicker than he wanted to, a little thinner than he wanted to. He wanted to hit that a little thicker because he's left George a shot. It's not a gimme, but it's a shot. And
Pretty hard coming to the table after the guy beat you 5 games in a row, and now this is the really first decent shot that George has.
yeah, this is a momentum builder.
Yeah.
So it's either he'll make the shot and then get into a gear, or he's going to miss the shot. And
Beautiful. Came with it.
So he came with the shot, but he's going to do another one because he didn't like how far he went on that, but he's going to come back and do it again. And that's a good shot after the 6. Again, this is now for people know George, a slightly momentum player. So every shot he starts making will start to get him into a gear. This is how he was yesterday when he played, and excuse me if I say it wrong, Justin Mizell is how I think.
John Dell Mason.
John Dell Mason, sorry.
Yeah, Mason. Mason.
And he'd beat
and
John
that's
Dell
out of Philippines.
out of the
some player.
Philippines. And so that was a big win for him yesterday.
Right.
Before losing to before Mike DeShane sent him to the loser side.
That,
I think they're
that's
taking
an
a break.
accomplishment.
Yep.
They're taking a break, so
I think they're taking a break now.
we'll just swing over here and let you guys observe a little bit of Warren Kiemko. We do have both cameras on them. You can watch Warren Kiemko and Dennis Acolo, and this is their match right here. I'll take this scoreboard down so that the people just coming in don't get a little screwed up with the names. And then as soon as our main table comes back, we'll switch it right back over. But these are the 2 matches on the loser side going on right now. The next match coming up, and I'll bring up those graphics just real quick for you. Right there on your screen, Mike DeShane versus Jason Klatt for the hot seat coming up next after these matches.
Yeah, Dennis is looking to play safe on the 1. So we've been standing here. The 2, I believe, is down in the opposite corner from the.
This isn't really an easy safe either. It's
No,
really,
it's wide open.
yeah, you got a lot of balls spread wide open in the center of the table down at the lower half. The only real safety option you got is up at the 3-5, but to get it there from this distance, it's like, wow.
Yeah, no, it's a tough shot to try to just draw it across and put it behind the 3-5, and at the same time hope that you don't pocket the 2.
Oh, I
by
see,
doing
see what
this,
he's doing
because
here? He's looking to stick the cue ball right where the 1 is. Bank the 1 down by the 7. That's what he's looking to do. But he's going to have to jack up and stick the rock right where the 1 is.
Right where the 1 is.
And use the 8 to protect it, the 8-6. And that's what he's doing. He's jacking up. Watch how he's going to try to stick the cue ball right here. If that's the shot he's going for. No, he kicked it.
He kicked it.
And he kicked it down right where we wanted
right
it.
down. It's gonna. He's gonna be
What a
upset with
great
himself
shot.
because it's a great shot, but it leaked out.
We got to get back to the main table as George Rodriguez
George is
is set.
back.
What a nice shot by Dennis in that.
George set to break.
Smart move by George, you know.
Yeah.
Come off the win, take a break.
Yep. Get yourself a little refreshed. Come
Yeah.
back. He wasn't making balls on the break. If he was leaving himself nothing to shoot at. Did make a ball.
You win, you know, you win that game, and now it's 6-4. It's a big game instead of being 7-3. So you win that, and it's your break, right?
Yep.
You take the break. Everything's all about the breaks, like the Better Business Bureau. He did the right thing.
Yep. Now he's going to try
Triple
to stick
B.
it behind the 3. Hope it doesn't leak. Unfortunately, it leaked out, but. And then he may be able to see past the 6. Yes, he can. I think he can. Yeah, I think he can make it past the 6. He's just needed up to draw it a little bit. The 2 was up by the side pocket there. It's just a long draw stroke. So
Well, if he can, he might be able to get to the rail, too. But if he can see it,
yeah, I'm not sure he could see that much of the rail. At least he can't see the side rail. He may bump into the. Not sure if that's the
the 8
8 ball there. Yep. I mean, but with that, drew way past the 2.
No, that's the fall.
Oh, sorry,
ball.
that's the fall ball
sun.
sitting there.
Sun
Yeah.
coming
The
through.
sun coming through.
Let me
has
see if
me.
I can turn that monitor a little bit.
Yep. That's good. Here he's just looking at, he'll play the 4 in the side and just float up past the 6. He's spending a second to look at the 8 to see where he's going to want to play the cue for the 8.
Yeah, he's got the perfect angle now. Just like that, Francisco puts another beat up. It's 7-4, folks. We want to thank some people along the way here, and we want to just make sure that you keep this in mind. October 24th through the 30th, the U.S. Open's taking place in Chesapeake, Virginia, and AccuStats is bringing up the reins on that and bringing you the pay-per-view. I don't know if the early bird special ended yesterday or not, but we want to give a big shout-out to Jim Fredericks. We've been in communication with him and Pat Fleming, and we wish you guys the best. October 24th through the 30th. Check out AccuStats.com with the hyphen right in the middle. Ozone Billiard Supplies. And notice on your screen on the left and the right side of your monitors. There's a lot of sponsors on board with Tony, and there you see them. Phil Capella is on premises right now. And along with all these major sponsors, if you would like to sponsor Tony Robles, notice the bottom there. You can get in touch with him at thepredatorproamtour.com. And if you want to be a sponsor of the next Gotham City Billiards inaugural, you can get in touch with Kevin. And he's all ears. Anybody willing out there to throw in another 10,000, 20,000? Get in touch with Kevin and Isabel right here at Gotham City Billiard Club. You know what? There's an ace in the hole that we got. A lot of people know him, and a lot of people don't. That gentleman right there on your screen, Mr. Joel Shapiro, a.k.a. the Gangster used to call him Master. Mr. Joel Shapiro. Thank you, Joel. And there is somebody up in the New England area I'd like to thank, and he doesn't want me to mention his name too much, but I'm going to do it anyway because he deserves recognition, and he doesn't want me to make a logo for him. Joe Boston, they call him. Getting back to this match, it's 7-4. Wow.
Yep.
Wow, did he just crash him that time?
But unfortunately,
You know damn well that he was hoping that 1-9 would line up somewhere, right?
that's what he
That's the
definitely
normal.
he definitely was looking for that. But he would have taken just the one to eke back out again just a little because the table is wide open. So he knows that.
That's the norm for anybody breaking. And when you see that 1-9 starting to come into the same course, you're saying, okay, just line up, guys.
Yep. I mean, his break brought all 7 of the 8 balls back beyond the side pocket. So he's just going to push to the opposite side of the table.
Well, you're going to be looking at the likes of the 9 ball, I believe, from this angle. Looks like George might try to hide the cue ball behind the 9 ball. Well, then again,
It's tough to do it by the short rail of trying to take it down behind the 9 by sort of drawing it back, using the 5 to buffer the 1 coming up the table, and then trying to put the cue behind the 9 that way.
George gave it right back to him.
Yeah.
Says, go ahead, kid, show me something.
You could try it. The other is, and a much tougher, but he can do it by looking at it. He can hit the 1 thin, come back 2
Oh,
rails,
I like
and hit
that.
behind the 9.
I like that, too.
But it's a very thin cut, and he's looking to see what would happen. He'll actually do it rail first.
You got to avoid that pocket, too.
Right.
Those pockets grow as the cue ball comes to a roll towards him. You know what? I think he can actually get this cue ball behind the 9.
Yeah, but I think he's doing it by rail first. He's looking to hit the rail first, then hit the 1 out, and force the cue back down again. And the 1 will come across the table, because that's what the lineup he was looking at.
Watch the double kiss and the cue ball go behind the 9. Just like that. Didn't hit a double kiss, though. He hit it
No,
good.
no, he hit it. He hit
real
it
good.
clean.
Safety called, as you can hear.
George playing 2 to kiss.
Now is when you call the 9, right? You're going to play it with the cue ball, the billiard.
Yeah. Because he's looking at it. I think he's just going to try to place. He was first thinking of
I like thinning it right here.
thinning it and coming back down again because he doesn't want to.
He called safety.
He called safety. I think he's trying to more hide it, the 1 to the. That's. I thought he would put the cue there and send the 1 up the table. But I think he's looking for George to.
Safety
him
battle,
safe and
Kev. We
leave
got
it.
a safety battle going on here.
Exactly. George is going to send the one back out again and try to leave the cue there. He ended up being a little short. Cut it. The problem is he could have left him the 1-9
Got a possible
combo
billion,
if he wants to do that, as opposed to playing the safe. But my guess is Francisco will play the safe, leave the cue right there by the 8-ball, and send the one back up the table, be on the other side, almost like a bank.
Believe it or not, he's looking at all his possibilities. He just took a look at cutting the one ball right into the corner past the 5. Just weighing everything out. I know the 9 looks good.
Yep. And with call shot, call safety, it's not like he could try the 1-9, and if he misses it, not have to worry about, you know, giving it back to him now. Yep, that's the shot I thought he would do.
I tell you, it all goes back to season, but looks like he might have left George a clear shot at the 1. 12 ball on the left long rail near the side pocket.
It's a nice little touch on that shot. He was able to hold up the cue to have a shot on the 5, and as he made the 4 on the long rail there. George trying to get back to 7-5 here.
Debating on spinning forward or drawing
Yep.
it.
Spin, so see, I saw before, look to see if the 6 would pass the 7. People have different philosophies on this shot. Some people will play it, hitting it a little hard, taking the cue down to the bottom rail and then back up again. Some people you'll see try to more baby the shot and just like
He's going to hold the rock.
hold it up and go.
Yeah, good shot. Now the 8 doesn't go by the 9, so he's going to have to play it in the other corner or the side pocket. He elected to spin the cue ball for the corner. Good shot.
This will make it 7-5.
You hear the crowd.
Starting to get into this. So
7-5, and once again, it's George's break. This is the time where he's got to come with the break to pull it within 1.
Yep.
Hey, we want to give a big shout out to Molinari Glove, Mr. Ira Lee, right there. You can find them right here on premises at Gotham City Billiard Club or any of your local rooms. If you don't find it in your local room, send an email or call up MolinariGlove.com and get them in your local room. They're going like wildfire. They're made real well. They got a webbing, keeps the sweat out of from gaining up in the palm of your hand. Plus, they're fingerless. They're cut off where you can still, feel the table and the cloth and get a good feel for your bridge hand.
yes, definitely an excellent glove. Several of our customers use it here, and they really like them.
I noticed Earl Strickland had one on when he walked in yesterday, and I forget the color that blue color. Forget the terminology they use for that color. Cayenne.
Cayenne, I think it is.
Yeah, the blue. I call it blue. Anyway, it's blue and black. MolinariGlove.com. And if you want to learn about the rack, if you want to learn how to read a rack, because sometimes there's spaces in between and the possibilities of making what ball and what pocket, JoeTucker.net. Mention the promo code Upstate Al. You'll start for $8. You're talking hours and years of frustration. You can learn right there on JoeTucker.net. Back to the action. George Rodriguez set the break. He just won the last game. His break, 7-5, opportunity to break, control the cue ball, and possibly get out.
Just slightly mishit it. Didn't make the corner ball, which is what he was hoping on. And so
notice the measle ball just spinning, drilling holes.
Yep.
And you can learn a lot, folks. I'll tell you what, if you're just getting into pool or just watching it, just by that measle ball, made for actually streaming and TV so that people can appreciate what kind of stroke in English that the player is putting on the ball. Unlike years ago, it was just like a white ball, and you couldn't really tell if it was spinning or not. So you can learn a lot from some of these world champions by watching the reaction of those measles. Or should I say a measle?
Nope, measles.
Measles
There's
is correct.
4 or 5 on the Aramuth balls, on the Aramuth cue ball. So there's a nice cut shot.
You hear somebody's phone out there.
Yes, we've turned the mic up, so.
We got to make the announcement to keep the phones down. That could be distracting towards a player, especially at this crucial time of the tournament.
Cisco's looking to hold the cue right there for the 3.
Yeah, that's a small window. He's got to stop it.
Yep. He touched everything on that one. No.
Now, he's either going to have to thread the needle between the 5 and the 9 or go forward and hopefully not bump the 8. That's too much traffic. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, no.
See, he's looking between the 5-9.
He's looking to thread the needle between the 5-9.
Back and forth. He can get in trouble here. Watch the cue ball. Wow.
Some shot.
How did he hit it?
That was.
And now it looks like he's got
Hit
the
that
wind
well,
behind him.
and he should be in very good shape here. With that shot, Francisco's gone up 8-5.
8-5, 1 from the hill. George is going to have to get his thoroughbred out of the gate and hold the whip. But he can't do anything from the seat as Francisco's set to break. It's his turn to break. That's a big game right there. Big game. You're looking at 7-6 compared to 8-5.
Yeah, compared to 8-5.
Yeah, very big game. We got a couple of guys sitting in the back of the wings over here. should give you guys a flash of these guys here. They wouldn't even know that we're watching them. How about this? Look at these two animals. Tony Robles and the Godfather of Pool. They're hanging out back there.
Sitting there working.
They're working.
Working at the end of the day. Yes, you're both working, so there's
They're
stuff
always on
going
the go.
Always something to do, so.
8-6, Francisco breaking. We're going into game 14.
Sorry, 8-5.
8-5, I'm sorry. We're going into game 14 now.
Yeah, he makes the one with a little help. He's got a little cluster of the 3-5-9 by the spot. He could make the 2. The problem is trying to get back up for the 3. There's only 2 pockets for the 3 to go into. The corner, I believe it could go on the side. But it's tough to find the position for it. He's now trying to look to see where he could play safe on it. So.
Yeah, this is kind of risky. He can. I don't think he can make the 2.
No, he's looking at not making the 2. He's trying. He may hit the 2 flush enough to send it back up. 3 rails.
Can he see the 2?
He can see the 2. He can see at least 2/3 of that ball, if not 3/4 of it.
You know, there's a kiss of death.
It's a surprise. There's a kiss to it on the 2/3. He's not trying to do thin. If he does the thin, he wants to do the thin and then spin an inside spin and hope the 2 will get out before the cue goes up past the 6.
He's rolling out,
so
it's not an easy shot for sure. And he's going to let George deal with it.
Feeling that George is going to give him back, since the 2 is frozen.
I don't know. You know, a shot like this, do you want to give it back to your opponent and allow him to play you a better safe than this, or do you want to try to hit him with a safe? I like just nudging the 2 against the 4, marrying it up, and bring the cue ball as far as you can behind the 3-5-9. And that's what George is looking at, that area there where the 7 is, that line of fire. He gave it back to him.
Yeah,
he's
no,
allowing, you know, this could be a mistake here.
Right. No, that's what I was saying. It's something here where it's a tough little shot, and so at this point, George trying to get back in doesn't want to make the mistake, as opposed to, you know, sometimes you can be a little aggressive on playing the safe and trying it, as opposed, and instead of feeling that he couldn't make the safe, gave it back. Right, but Francisco will be able to put this through, and he's actually hit it much harder, sending it back up all the way up the table.
Anytime you take a chance like that and allowing your opponent to rehab the shot when you got clear vision at it, you're just allowing him to put you in a better place to play safe at. George just hides behind the Great Wall of China here. Wow, what a shot! Well, this is where the youngster might go off here, Kev. He might go off.
I would be surprised if you jumped the balls. There's 2 ways you could hit the 2 and still get safe. You can come to the bottom.
Going to his jump cue.
Yeah, see, I would play the bottom rail up, hit the 2, send the 2 up the table, and come behind that 3-5-3-9 again.
Well, it might have to bend the ball a little bit. Oh, unless you hit the bottom of the 2. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the bottom of the 2 and send it up.
Good shot, but he sees something that we don't, obviously.
Yeah, no, the shot he wants is the same. He's
going for Nike Air here.
Yeah, he's coming across. He's gonna hit the bottom of the 2 and try to put the cue down by the 4. No, went the opposite side of it.
And came out just about right. How about that?
Well, there's the window now between the 3-5. So George can hit the 2.
Yeah, he's gonna have to
2
go
rails
rail
out
first, right? And again, these safety battles, that young man has been coming out on top of George. George did win the last one, though.
Yeah. George is calling the 2 in the corner. The only problem with that missing it, unless he called the safe, but he did point to the corner pocket, so.
Shoot again since he called it.
And now George is called safe. It's a real nice shot
Now the
out
pogo
of
stick.
that one, but we're coming back out again.
Keep that cue stick that you just used to jump.
Yeah,
Get rid of that one.
Yeah, he doesn't need the pogo stick. He seems to be fairly adept at using his regular cue to jump. There's a little bit more distance. He may
He
need the
did use
pogo
his
stick.
jump cue in the last jump.
No, he used his regular cue.
No, he broke it down.
He broke it down?
Yeah, he actually went to the sideline and asked one of his friends to hold it so he can unscrew the butt. Unless that is a jump
I missed it, but
play
that's
cue, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't put it past all the equipment that's being made today.
Yeah, no, he's too much of a. It's a fairly long jump, and so now he's looking at the.
Everything's wide open, Kevin. He makes
at
this.
the
He's
rail.
looking to clean.
Oh no, he
you
makes
know?
this. He should be. He should be able to clear out, because everything is wide open.
Now he's looking at.
But
the
he's
putt.
looking at two ways.
I
of
love
looking
the
at
way
this.
he's looking at this table for a young man like this age.
Yeah.
This is incredible. I don't know if you guys seen him play before. We also had Kevin Chang in the room yesterday. He actually snapped off the China Open, the last China Open. He was here. And, great players coming from all over, and this is the first time I'm seeing actually Francisco play.
Yeah, Francisco was looking for a very small window. He wanted to put the cue behind the 4 and the rail there. That's what he was looking at, and just fell short.
No good, George.
You could tell after George shot it that he knew he missed it.
So George did have the opportunity to win that safety battle right there and missed the 2 ball.
Right, missed the 2.
The 5 does go in the bottom left-hand corner. It also goes in the side pocket. So every ball does have a pocket. It's just a matter of manipulating this cue ball into position so he could run out here. And it's really not much to do from the 2 to the 3.
And actually, there's not much. The 4 is on the bottom rail, so it's not much from the 3 to the 4.
I wonder if the 5-9 are wired at all. Look near close, don't they?
They look close.
We can take a look at it right here real quick.
Yeah, it's close,
Close,
but no,
not
there's a small angle off. I don't think it's not Francisco's way to play. I've seen him play for the last couple of days,
Not only
and even
Francisco,
practice on Friday.
Any
but
professional usually
yeah,
goes for the run out.
they'll do the run out. So.
But if it's wired,
But I'm saying I haven't seen him even take many combo shots. I've seen him, combinations. He seems to be able to maneuver himself way around to do straight, but he's a little short than what he wanted to be.
well,
Wanted
he's
to be
he's
up
gonna
just
be
a little
little
bit more.
right. He's,
He's
be a little
okay.
aggravated by the 6, but the angle he's got there is okay.
Yeah, no, he'll come right across for the 6,
Right.
but just made it a little more of a tester than he'd like.
He'd like to stay on the left side of the table and hold that angle, get back on the 7.
Right, to get across the 7.
Right,
He
you really
would prefer just to come to the middle of the table, is
Right.
really what his objective was. So he'd get the angle for the 6 to come back to the 7, no problem.
If he does get on the short side of the 6 here, he's okay too. He's got a big window between the 9-8, after pocketing the 6 ball. If he gets on the short side,
Problem is if he gets too straight,
he's okay too.
yeah, he's all right. He could punch it out a little, which is what I think he'll end up doing here. Or actually, he'll go forward and come up.
I think he's just going to draw and just hold his cue ball. I don't like hitting this with inside.
No, he's going to go forward a little outside, actually, and then come
Oh,
back
he's
up to
gonna-
the middle,
Okay, nice shot.
just like that.
Francisco Ruiz threatening to get up on the hill here on George Rodriguez in his first match. We do have another B-side match going on, and when this one ends right here, we'll switch the camera over so that you can watch Warren Kiemko and Dennis Acolo, and we'll give you an update of the scores. And then we'll be right back with the hot seat match after these two matches end. There you have it. Francisco gets to the hill first over Gotham City Billiard Club's pro, George Rodriguez, who has done real well in this tournament, and the owners are very proud of him. He's come a long way. And the score for Dennis
The score
Acolo
is 8-6 Warren in the Warren Kiamco Dennis Acolo match.
I call him everything. I just call him late for dinner.
I have dry mouth right now, so not used to talking this much.
Kevin's been keeping an eye on Upstate Al. I got to give Kevin a lot of credit. He is one of the pool room owners. Besides, obviously, I can probably count them on 5 hands that look after the booth, because people tend to forget who we are. We're in the back and forget we're not machines. And Kevin's been checking on everybody sitting back here and replenishing them with drinks. And now he's in the booth. So I guess he did pick up on it the first time he was in the commentator's booth. There is a lot of talking going on.
And if anybody knows me, I'm not the talker.
No.
So it's so you definitely need to
Finnegan's
be able to do
counting on
both
it.
to go through this.
Finnegan just ordered the armored car to pull up so he can take the suitcase home.
Yes. Again, anybody who's been in the room, we ended up expanding our room slightly in the last year, taking over a side room which we had as a ping pong room. Really, Al is now on display. There's 3 huge windows in front that everybody can see Al and his equipment and everything as they walk by. And you have people who stand outside the window and sort of wave at us.
Yeah, we look like we're in a fish tank in Holland.
Right. So it's become even more entertaining while you're sitting here. So.
In fact, it's funny that you bring that up because we had Lori John in the booth with Tony and Jerry T and Snookster last night. And when I was switching over to allow you guys to see Lori John and everybody that was sitting in the booth, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but Stevie, the Russian, somehow found a photobomb way to photobomb the whole video. Was outside the room waving. Sort of like NBC Studios where they run a Today Show and people are standing outside. And I caught it.
Yes.
I actually caught it.
And yes, that is Stevie. That's the type of stuff that Stevie will do to
He found it.
entertain everybody. So.
Well, here we go. Francisco's back up, and he's got a shot at the 1. I can tell you one thing. On the other table, Warren Kiamco was. What was the score of that again?
That was 8-6 Warren, and then I know Warren is back at the end there. I think he's got 4 balls left on the table.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. 3. He's
3.
got the
Sorry.
7, 8, and 9 left. So it looks like Warren might make it to the hill in that match.
It's a nice shot coming across. He did. He bumped the 3, but didn't go in. It just got further into the pocket.
What's the concern about here?
His concern is that
the 4?
making the 1. He ended up bumping the 3 further into the pocket, and if diamond pockets are deep, so he's going to make the 2. Is getting back to the 4 after he shoots the 2.
Well, then I would just speculate that well, it looks
He's
I don't
not
think
gonna-
the 4 goes.
Yeah, the 4 is very tight. He wanted to be able to come to the between the 4 and the 9 was what he was looking at first when he was shooting the 1. But
Right.
because he accidentally bumped the 3, he's now forced to do the draw. He has no rail to get into. He got right on the 4 with no problem, but it's a tight shot, and he's going to have to hit
Roll.
rail first and roll it with speed.
Yeah.
With that, he's going to come away from the rail for the 5. So
He would love to be a little bit straighter here, but
right, so he could draw back a little bit and then be able to play the 5 in the same pocket. But here it's going to take him out. He'll only have a cross-side shot. because he can't hit it hard. That's his problem here. Is I don't think he has enough space.
Well, he's got a
hit
safety.
it fairly
He can
hard
play
and
safe.
go through it.
He's looking at his position on the 5. Guys out there, keep in mind that these players do play 1, 2, 3 balls, sometimes 4 balls, 5 balls ahead. They're looking at the angles and what direction they need and what's better to get on the next ball prior and afterwards. So prior.
Yeah, he's playing
Did
safe.
he call safe? Oh, played safe. Nice shot.
He didn't seem happy with it.
Unless
but
he called a 9. Oh, he did
he
call
call
the
the
9.
9? Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
So we got a break in the action.
I didn't. You know, George is giving it back to him. But
Of course.
I was surprised he went for the 9. He's playing. He's called the 4 now.
Yeah, whenever you're kicking a ball like that and it's near the hole, you got to call it. He missed it. Ball in hand for
So
George.
ball hit for George,
Opportunity
who
for
pops
George.
out of his chair
He got it.
because he's like, okay, I can get another shot here.
Uh-oh, there's a hole there, George.
Easy.
Be careful. Ooh. Boy, took some chance there. He wanted to get more. He wanted to get more of that long rail than anything.
Yeah, than to go through it, but he's going to shoot himself out of this. He's still wanting the cue to slow down, but
He's a little bit straight here too.
he's got a lot of adrenaline going here now, and
Well,
that's what it is.
You know, it's at the point where your opponent's on the hill. You better start opening up and free stroking,
right?
and keep the arm loose. And that's exactly how he punched that ball right in the hole. George Rodriguez making a statement
Making
here.
it here, it's going to be 9-6. Crowd trying to push him on
Where is the
to go
crowd?
through this. The crowd,
Where are they?
you'd have to turn it. They're all over the place. It's a shoehorn around. So here's the crowd on this side, and it keeps going back further because
Yes,
we
it
have
sure
people with
does.
tables and chairs where
See Allison Fisher with the long hair, the young lady sitting in the middle there, writing articles on this. And the crowd goes back, and there's tables and chairs
tables
back
and chairs
here
back
also.
here and for people to sit at, and then you can horseshoe your way around the opposite way and go. You'll see people the other side of the Warren match.
Oh, right. It's going to look like we're kind of on a Titanic, I believe, because
Yeah,
of the
don't-
pan and tilt bracket. But let's take a
Yeah, we
quick
actually
look.
see, if you hold up a second, you'll see the Warren score because that's right across the way there.
Oh, okay.
It's up there. And so,
Looks like it's Hill 6, Warren. Unless Dennis didn't put up his bead here. It's
yeah,
Hill
let's
6,
see, he's going
Warren.
to put it up now, right?
And we got to get right back to the featured match as Francisco set the break, and he's on the hill.
Makes the one on the side, which he's done now a couple of times on his break, actually. Made the one, but cannot see the 2. There's push options. Yeah, the only push option is to that corner.
This is a real tempting shot when you're down.
Yeah, George, threw up his hand a little bit as he came to the table. You could see a little bit of frustration, like I'm coming back to this, and do I take it or do I give it? He's given it up a couple of times and has paid for it. So I think this time he's looking to try to play the safe and hoping to hit it hard enough. He really wanted to take it to that top rail and be on the rail. He's a little off. He can't see it, but he can
George's shot.
giving it back to him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he called the shot and wound up making the cameraman pocket in the 8-ball, so it goes right back to George. Or was that a rollout?
Yeah, if he's shooting back again, since he's got it back again, he must
I don't know
have.
if that was a rollout after the break.
There's the rollout after the break.
Was
but
it?
he made the ball. Yeah, he did have a rollout, but it ended up that he made the ball as opposed to.
I'm doing a couple of.
He didn't expect to make the ball. I don't believe he can see the side of the 2 here, so he'll be kicking. He's going to look at the 2 up. He wants to just keep the cue there behind the 9.
You want to duck the 2.
And then send the 2 up the table again.
You got a lot of blockers up there.
There's plenty of balls up there. He caught a little bit of side of it, but he'll still get, unless there's a window, but I don't think there's a window. He could see the side of the 2. He's going to play the safe. I would play it as rail first, hitting the 2 full. Then you could send more full. I mean, he's looking at the face of the 2, sending the 2 up the table and the cue back onto the other side. You're just hoping you won't double kiss it.
Safety called.
Yeah.
Speed.
Here is the problem: is the speed getting behind, hoping the 2 was not going to come up far enough, and so.
Called it.
He's calling the 2 in the corner.
He called the corner pocket, and you've seen the cut shot that he has to cut it. This is a game winner. This is like if you make this, you win the match. He's betting the match on this.
And did not make it and left George a shot. So
That's it. He was playing that to get out. Notice the position on the cue ball and the 3.
and the 3, yep.
Coming up next, guys, right there, Jason Klatt versus Mike Deschênes. Let everybody know, please. Jason Klatt versus Mike Deschênes. For the hot seat. It's been a tough road for George, you know, from the opening gate. It's really been a tough road. He opened up with a 3-0, wound up 3-1, and then Francisco won 5 games after that. It was 6-3.
Yep, to go 6-3.
And since that 3, when George hit that 3, everything's been tough road. Every time he got up at the table, and he's doing what he's supposed to do, Francisco. He's playing them safe, but even when George option to break, you know, because it is alternate break, and George would break let's say, make a ball, and he wouldn't have a shot.
Yeah, he's not having a shot,
So
or he
it's really-
scratched once on
right,
a
it all
one,
came down
so.
to the rolls. Needs a rail.
And
He
he's
got
got a
it,
rail,
and he got a ball.
and he got a ball. But
Wow.
just this.
He's not getting this back. This is
No,
this
he's
is,
not
this
going to
is for
get
the
out,
win.
and this is going to be for the win here. So
Warren Campco, and we're going to bring that over and give you guys an idea what the score there with Dennis Colo, as William Finnegan is right there on spot. You can see the shot, and it is Warren at the hill, and Dennis Acolo has 6, I want to say, or 7.
6,
7.
7.
Yeah, we can see the beads here.
Yep.
Thanks, Tony Robles. We're doing a little quick run out there. He says, let me help these guys out. He says, these guys have been doing a lot of work.
There you go. And that
I'm just so
that's-
used to hearing it from Tony, so I just say it from now.
made a shot. He could still make the 3 in the corner. He seems a little upset with the shot, but it got bumped enough. It wasn't that the 8 froze up against the 3.
Right.
He's now just looking at where he wants to come across for the 5, whether he'll play the 5 on the left-hand side or come across a little bit further and play the 5 on the right-hand side. Because he keeps looking at the line to come across, then
A little more of an angle than what he wanted. He
Yeah.
really would have liked to be a
it's
little
been
straighter.
just straight on. He ended
Yeah.
up putting a little more spin on it.
Now he's
to
going to
come out.
slide. He's going to play the 8 in the same side pocket. Watch the shot. He's going to slide the cue ball up.
Yep.
And now he's back in line. He's okay. He can just float the cue ball up and down table and wound up good for the 9. He could even spin it a little bit.
I think he's just going to spin it a little bit and
Yeah.
come to the middle. He's not going to take a lot of traveling here.
Shot. Francisco for the win.
Yep.
There you have it. The young man from Spain at 23 years old, Francisco Sanchez Rojas, defeating George Rodriguez and eliminating George out of the tournament. What a great showing, George Rodriguez. We got to get a microphone and say congratulations to George. What a great showing.
Definitely.
I want to thank Mr. Kevin Buckley, the owner of Gotham City Billiard Club, for hanging in there with Upstate Al. And we'll be right back with another match. We're going to swing it over to Dennis Acola and Warren Campo and let you guys sweat that. And we'll keep the bead score right up in front of you. It is Hill, which is Warren Campo has 9, and Dennis has 7. And we'll be right back, guys.
They took a break in the other one.
Yeah, they did take a break.
They
We'll be
took a
back,
break,
guys.
so
We're going to take a
okay.
break. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Chuck Willery. See you
Yep.
in a little bit.